Your brother's best friend. They've been friends since as long as you can remember. And he's always been awfully nice to you, to the point you always started seeing him as an older brother too. But you didn't. You couldn't. If he would be anything, it would be devilish, awfully, strangely handsome. He looked like a model, for God's sake. You even tried to convince him in the past to go to an agency, but what may even seem as spite, the man decided to cover half his body in tattoos instead. He was also strangely, unbelievably kind. He truly seemed to care about you, always offering you snacks and gifts, some of which you couldn't help yourself to accept. I mean, seriously, a Birkin bag? Do you know how much those things cost? It was also incredibly strange how he seemed to be incredibly rich. Could he get any more perfect? Although the both of you were close and you'd join in on the occasional little hangouts with your brother, oftentimes he would convince your brother to let you stay despite his protests, and you couldn't help but feel a little flutter in your chest. Today was no different. You just got back from school, trudging through the front door like a zombie. "Hey, there you are," he says, while wearing an apron over his clothes in your kitchen, as he continues to stir a pot of what looks to be pasta sauce and meatballs, and your mouth couldn't help but water. "Hey, come here. I cooked this just for you and your brother." "No, really. Come sit next to me." As you make your way to sit down, you can't help but just swoon at how nice he is. But he was never just nice to you, was he? His gifts always seemed perfectly timed for whatever you were in distress or whatever you seemed out of. You didn't mind, did you? In fact, you couldn't even remember if you truly mind. Your brain's slowly slipping away, isn't it? "Come on, your food's getting cold. You gotta eat something," he says while placing a plate of freshly cooked homemade pasta and meatballs in front of you. "It's okay. I'll take care of you. You just relax. Don't think about anything." His words are hypnotic, and you just obediently eat. He seems content, his face displaying his iconic happy smile, one of which betrayed his truly sinister inner thoughts. Finally, you were slipping. Maybe this is what he planned from the start. Plan. You start to think as you reluctantly keep eating at his own joy. You also start to wonder if you truly even mind, because this feels nice, and he just wants the best for you. As you begin to regain the semblance of yourself, you put down your fork and you say, "Actually, I don't think I'm quite as hungry as I thought I was." His smile falters ever so slightly at your lack of appetite, but he quickly recovers his expression once again, radiating a warm and touching sign of affection. "Oh, my dear," he sighs as he reaches across the table to gently caress your cheek. "You must be so exhausted from your day. Why don't you let me take care of you?" As he slides his hand down to your chin, tilting your face up to meet his gaze. His eyes are dark, with nothing but emotion. You can't quite place it, but it's a mixture of tenderness and something more primal. His thumb traces the outline of your lips, and you can't help but shiver at his touch. There's an intensity in his eyes that makes your heart flutter. Part of you wants to pull away. Another part of you starts to question the sudden shift in his demeanor. But the rest of you is simply drawn in, captivated by his every word and action. "What do you say, he says as he leans in closer, his warm breath caressing your skin. "How about we go upstairs and I give you a very special surprise?" His gaze flickers down to your lips, and you can see the hunger burning in his eyes. This is a side of him you've never seen before, a side that both terrifies you and excites you. What is he planning? And more importantly, do you want to find out? Dazed and confused, you simply say, I don't want to unless you tell me what it is. His expression shifts slightly, a hint of disappointing flickering across his features. However, he quickly recovers. His smile returns as he gently squeezes your hand. Well, of course, my dear, he says as his voice dripping with a hint of innocence. I would never want to make you feel uncomfortable. You know I only want the best for you, he says again, repeating those words over and over again in your mind. He leans back in his chair, his gaze still fixed intently on you. His fingers idly trace the patterns on the table as he speaks. His tone is measured and calm. You see, I've developed quite a bit of an affection for you over these years. A deep, profound caring that goes beyond any friendship. As he pauses and looks deeply into your eyes, searching your face for any type of reaction. I would like to shower you with all the love and attention you deserve, to make you truly feel loved and cherished, he says as he leans in closer, his voice dripping to a whisper. To help you, you need to let go of all your worries and burdens, and simply just relax and embrace the blissful, carefree state of mind that I know you crave. As he reaches out his hand to gently cup your cheek, his thumb traces the bottom of your lip. All you have to do is trust me. Let me take care of you in every way you need. His gaze is smoldering. His touch is almost hypnotic. The intensity of his words and actions leaving you feeling both intrigued and apprehensive. What does he even have in mind? And more importantly, do I dare to find out? Feeling overwhelmed, you decide to shuck him away from you, and you simply say, I don't want any of those things from you. His smile flutters slightly at your refusal. A flicker of disappointment washes over him. I see, he murmurs, his hand withdrawing from your face. I apologize if I came on too strong. That was never my intention, he says as he leans back in his chair, his gaze thoughtful. You know, I value our friendship more than anything, and I would never want to jeopardize that by making you feel uncomfortable. He reaches across the table to slowly, gently squeeze your hand once again. I care about you deeply, and I sometimes feel like I'm truly the only one that wants the best for you. So if that means keeping things strictly platonic between us, I'm more than happy to do so. His eyes search your face, his expression so sincere. Your happiness and well-being are the most important things to me. Please don't ever feel pressured to do anything you're not ready for. I'll always be here for you, in whatever capacity you need. He says as he patiently waits for your response, his demeanor calm once again, and understanding, seems to genuinely respect your boundaries, even if a hint of disappointment still lingers in his gaze. The only words you can seem to find are those that are very abrasive, and you simply brush away his hands and say, "Oh, so you suddenly care about me so much?" He reels back in confusion at your skeptical tone, as he simply lets out a soft sigh and says, my dear, you wound me. He gives your hand a gentle squeeze once again. Have I truly done something to make you doubt the depths of my feelings for you? As he leans in closer once again. It's true that I've never been this forward with you before, but surely you must know how much you mean to me. As he pauses, and as he smiles once again. Perhaps I've been way too subtle, too afraid of jeopardizing our friendship, to truly express the extent of my affection. You are the most precious person in my life from the moment we first met. You've held a very special place in my heart. I've watched you grow into a wonderful, brilliant individual you are today, and my feelings for you have only deepened with time. I know I may have to come to terms with my feelings one day, and I might not get the result that I want, but please believe me when I say my intentions are only pure, and I only want to show you what you deserve. Lost in his own words, you start to believe what he's saying, but the skepticism inside you still lingers, so you ask him a question of, why should I trust you? I see. I suppose I can't blame you for feeling that way. After all, I've been your brother's best friend for years, and now I'm suddenly confessing these deep feelings for you. Like I've said over and over again, I've always cared about you, and I simply can't just push these feelings down inside anymore. As he reaches across the table, he places his hands over yours once again. His gentle touch is very insistent. All I can ask is you give me a chance. Allow me to prove the depths of my feelings, to show you that my intentions are truly positive. As you fight off his hypnotic words, you get memories and flashbacks of all the previous times you've seen him with multiple women, and you start to think about all those words that he would say to them and those relationships that he's had. How can they truly be pure with a man so experienced as this? So you work up the courage and you simply say, what about all those other girls I've seen you with? Did you say that to them as well? His expression darkens at your accusation, with a flash of irritation crossing his face, but simply gets smoothed over by a forced smile. Those other girls, he murmurs with a hint of disdain in his voice. I'm afraid you've completely misunderstood the nature of those relationships, he says as he shakes his head, and the grip on your hand starts to tighten ever so slightly. The truth is, I've never felt anything for any of them, especially compared to what I feel for you. His gaze bores into yours intensely and unwavering. You are the only one that has ever truly captured my heart. All those other interactions were nothing but more fleeting distractions, attempts to dull the ache of my feelings for you, he says as he leans in closer, his voice dropping low, intimate, murmuring. Now that I've found the courage to confess my love, I have no desire to be with anyone else. He starts to free up his hand and gently caress your cheek. You are the only one I want, the only one that can make me whole. As you become moved by his sentiments and words, you decide to say, prove it to me right now, not with words but with actions. Prove to me that you actually care about me. His expression shifts, his eyes narrow. He begins to rise from his chair, never breaking eye contact with you. Actions, you say, he murmurs in his deep voice laced with a dark promise. Very well, then allow me to show you the depths of my affection. And in one swift motion, he moves across the table, closing the distance between the two of you before you can even react. He gathers you in his strong arms. He gathers you into his strong arms, pulling you against his muscular frame, his hands cupping the back of your head, angling your face towards him. I want you to feel how much you consume my every thought, he growls as he gazes at you. How your very presence sets my blood on fire, and with that, and without warning, he captures your lips in a searing kiss, his grip on you tightening possessively. The kiss is deep, passionate, and leaves no doubt as its intensity of his desire. His tongue teases and explores, mapping every inch of your mouth as if it's trying to commit it to memory. And when he finally pulls away, his eyes are dark, filled with lust. His breath is coming in ragged. He murmurs, his thumb tracing your swollen lips, as he says, "This is only the taste of what I truly feel for you. And I promise you, it's only the beginning." You can't help but feel flustered and overwhelmed by so many emotions that you lash out in retort, and you say to him, "Never do that again." As his words wash over you, he immediately releases you, his eyes widening with a mixture of shock and alarm. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me." He takes 2 steps back, putting some much-needed distance between the two of you. His gaze drops to the floor, his expression deflated. "I never meant to make you uncomfortable. I just got carried away by my own feelings and crossed the line." He lets out a heavy sigh, running a hand through his hair in frustration. You were right to be skeptical of me. I've completely betrayed your trust, and I understand if you no longer want anything to do with me." Lifting his head, his eyes are filled with genuine remorse. Please allow me to make it up to you. I'll do whatever it takes to regain your trust. Just give me the chance to show you how much you mean to me." Those words start to wash over your body, but they don't change your decisions and how you feel, and you are currently just overwhelmed in every sense of the word. He takes a step closer, his movements slow and deliberate, as to not startle you. "I know I've ruined everything with my impulsiveness, but well, if you'll let me, I swear I'll be the best friend you've ever had. No more secrets, no more lies, no more rash decisions." As he reaches out, tries to take your hand, you reply with, "No, you don't. You just want to use me for your sick games," as your mind spins with all the confusions and thoughts of today's events. He takes a step back as a pained look crosses his face at your accusation. "You have to believe me. This isn't some kind of sick game to me." He takes a step closer. "I know my actions may have seemed inappropriate, but I assure you, my feelings for you are genuine and my intentions are pure." As he says once again those words whisper in your mind, consuming your thoughts. "I would never intentionally try to manipulate you." As you just want it to all stop. So you decide to scream out and say, "Get out of my sight. I never want to see you again." His eyes widen in shock and hurt at your words, the color draining from his face. He stands there frozen for a moment, utterly devastated. Then without another word, he simply turns on his heels and hurriedly exits the room, his shoulders slumped in defeat. As he rushes out, your brother comes rushing down the stairs, confusion written all over his face. "Whoa, what's going on? I heard voices, and is everything okay?" As he notices his best friend in a hasty retreat. Where's he going in such a hurry? Your brother approaches you, placing a comforting hand on your shoulder. "Hey, did he do something to upset you? I swear if that guy hurts you in any way, I'll kick his ass." As your mind starts to clear up and you gain a semblance of yourself again, you simply say, No, nothing, it's fine." Your brother's best friend's heart starts to sink as he hears your harsh words, echoing deep inside his heart. The feeling starting to overwhelm him so badly that he decides to lean against the wall in an empty hallway. No, he begins to whisper. "This wasn't supposed to happen. I was so close." After a moment, he takes a shutting breath, sealing himself. "There has to be a way to salvage this. I can't just give up. Not when I've come this far." as his eyes darken with determination as he picks himself up off the walls and slowly makes his steps towards his house. I have to regroup. I need to rethink my strategy. But one thing is for certain. I'm not giving up on her. Not now, not ever. I will do whatever it takes to win, to prove the depths of my devotion, even if that means starting from scratch or finding another way to worm back into your life. Because you belong with me. And I'll be damned if I let anyone else have you.